The 2 p.m. newscast
with
Biwa Brian.
It is often said a dog that is destined to get lost will not hear the hunter's whistle. But here at Royal FM, we make sure you hear the whistle. Good afternoon, Radio Faithfuls. You are on to the 2 p.m. news on Royal FM. The headlines. President Paul Biya's 50 billion commitment to youth and women's empowerment has sparked widespread approval as entrepreneurs say the funds will provide the financial backbone needed to scale their businesses.
It's an amazing gesture to think he's thinking about the youth and the women population at large.
Very happy, very excited, very grateful for this beautiful opportunity given to the youth.
Out of the country in Uganda, ahead of the upcoming elections, the government has officially denied reports of a planned internet shutdown. And in sports, the Cameroon National Paralympic Committee is currently convened at the Yaoundé Multipurpose Sports Complex to finalize the books on 2025 and greenlight the roadmap for activities in 2026. Stay tuned for a development of these stories and several others. Dear listeners, thank you for taking the rendezvous with us on Reality 8.4 FM. Today, January 6, 2025, marks the World Day of War Orphans, a day dedicated to highlighting the plight of children left most vulnerable by global conflict. Initiated by a French organization, the observance serves as a global reminder that children are often the most tragic yet silent victims of war. With over 140 million orphans worldwide, including 52 million in Africa, today's focus is on psychological and social rehabilitation of these young survivors. The government and humanitarian agencies are therefore urged on this day to move beyond physical aid, ensuring these children receive the specialized trauma care and education needed to rebuild their lives with dignity. And as you got in the headlines, the head of state, President Paul Biya, during his last December 31st speech to the nation, revealed that 50 billion CFA francs was allocated to a special fund for youths, entrepreneurs, and women's economic empowerment within the 2026 finance budget. And speaking with some youths, Evans William Jobati sampled various impressions and clues in the following report.
Coming at a time when youths in Cameroon have been functioning under the policy of import substitution and consuming Cameroon have pushed some remarkable young persons in the country to usher accolades.
First of all, it's an amazing gesture to think he's thinking about the youth and the women population at large.
Very happy, very excited, very grateful for this beautiful opportunity given to the youth, the entrepreneurs by the head of it. And I think this is a very good opportunity to encourage women in Cameroon who actually want to bring a change in the national economy.
Nevertheless, Eposi Courage, a young parliamentarian, fears these funds could be mismanaged as it has been the case in the yesteryears.
There has been a controversy of funds when it comes to our country. Which quarter is going to handle this? Where are the appropriate quarters which are going to execute this function? What are the youth supposed to do to enable them have a party to this total sum which the president has approved? Notwithstanding the fact that how will this affect the youth, except they want to tell us that, okay, there's a state revenue strictly allocated for that.
And when asked if the set amount was sufficient enough, Wango, a rising entrepreneur, speaks of dealing with the available wins.
Nothing is small when there's a will. Once you have the will to do something big for your country, no matter how much you have to impact your country positively, you are going to use the money judiciously. One thing I've noticed with most entrepreneurs in Cameroon is they think that that's their calling, but when the money comes, either they run with the money, they do something else with the money.
Equally noting that part of these funds will boost women empowerment in Cameroon, both say,
Every young entrepreneur has to take upon themselves to get to work, to apply for the funds and actually use it for the right motive.
Women, even at their benefits, they are being still left out. If you notice, from 2023-2024, the highest entrepreneurs have been women. They are trying to impact themselves, build careers, and rather than being in a patriarchal system. The little the women are able to put together or receive, they would value it more than anybody would think.
It should be noted that it is not the first time the government has supported youth in gaining employment or becoming self-employed, drawing references from the 2016 three-year special youth plan.
In agriculture, the 39th ordinary session of the National Commission for the Approval of Phytosanitary Product is currently underway in Yaoundé, chaired by the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Gabriel Bairobi. The high-level meeting is crucial for Cameroon's second-generation agricultural goals. The Commission is tasked with rigorously evaluating new pesticide dossiers and certified treatment equipment to ensure they meet strict safety and environmental standards for the days ahead. End-of-year festivities are behind us as we clock 6 days into the new year. After heavy spendings during the feast, the month of January is often marked by extreme financial challenges. Even though few people still face this challenge, many have learned to spend wisely during the Christmas break. Our reporter Glory Ngange questioned some Cameroonians on how they are living these early days of January, and now details out.
Barely a week after end-of-year celebrations, many Yaoundé city dwellers are already feeling the consequences of uncontrolled spendings, as these inhabitants confesses.
January is a long month. Things are really hard for me. I'm just trying to do what I can do. But seriously, it's not really easy. It's now that I am realizing that I had to do more of economy. Like I really had to overspend so that I could at least have some money in January. But you know, with all the facilities and when you go to the market, you see things, you just want to buy. You don't see how you spend. It's later, like now, that you start understanding that you have to really economize.
January has already shown its tough side to many as they are forced to tighten purse strings, cut down on spendings and prioritize needs over wants. Linda is one of them.
After the heavy spending during the festive season, January is usually a very tight month for me. Things are not easy financially, so I'm being extra careful with how I spend. I'm prioritizing basic needs, cutting out unnecessary expenses, and trying to manage with what I have until things stabilizes themselves. It's a month of adjustment, discipline, and patience, hoping that little by little things get better.
However, past experiences have taught others like Damaris to enjoy the festivities without hefty outlays. With this, January is just another month for her and not mythically long as many assume.
My January has started not really bad. I spent my money wisely because I knew that in January there's always lack of money or food. So I did not misuse my money. I used the money wisely.
In a nutshell, the narrative of financial hurdles in the aftermath of lavish holiday spending is changing as many are gaining consciousness from the experiences over the years.
Glory Ngange in that report. And in a similar vein, for many Cameroonians, saving money doesn't always begin in a bank. It often starts at home with a small box kept under the bed or on a shelf, known as piggy banks. This way of saving plays a quiet but important role in how Cameroonians relate to the notion of forecasting rainy days. Our reporter Jeffrey Tachu met with a few of them and compiled their views for this report.
Before mobile money and commercial banks became a part of their daily life, many Cameroonians have been saving their coins and banknotes in the comfort and security of their homes, as is the case for Clopas.
Then in the primary schools, we'll be saving 100 francs, 50 francs, maybe in preparation for Christmas, February, 20th of May. Also a big celebration for us back then now. On 20th May is coming, we'll go and work job. Now we'll come and save the money inside. Saving for rainy days. Don't know when they rent my...
However, according to Mary, owning piggy banks should come along with a certain level of financial wisdom so as to make sure that such savings can actually generate future income.
I think when you have a piggy bank, you must have it for a good purpose, not just to buy clothes or shoe or all the rest. You must have it to keep your money, and with time, you can make something with it, like a small business, a little bit of business that will give you money more and more. If you receive maybe your salary, you have like 30,000, and you can keep like 1,000 per day, that your piggy bank. I believe that in 1 year, you can have something that will generate enough of money to give you something or to make a business, to start up a business.
Moreover, a piggy bank serves as a reserve meant to save for rainy days. Clopas once again.
Might be one side hustle that I want to put in place, maybe for a purpose, for a short-term realization, or to build a short step for a long-term realization. That might be my own rainy days, because nobody will be working and saving all his savings just in a piggy bank. That is why you cannot be putting all your eggs in one basket. A piggy bank is just like another basket that you create to be putting some of your eggs for some purpose.
And as the cost of living rises and incomes remain uncertain, the piggy bank means much more than a container. It is a symbol of financial discipline, responsibility, and determination of Cameroonians to stay afloat.
Braille from Touch to Empowerment is the theme under which the 2026 edition of the World Braille Day was celebrated on January 4. This celebration underscores the pivotal role of Braille in the lives of visually impaired individuals, recognizing it as a cornerstone of knowledge, independence, and active community participation. But what is Braille, and how is this digital era affecting the use of Braille? Fimi Crispin, head of Reporters Brigade, interviewed some leaders of visually impaired associations and now reports.
Coco Berteng is president of the Club for Young Visually Impaired Rehabilitated Persons in Cameroon. He sheds light on what Braille is, as well as its origin.
Braille is a writing system for persons with visual impairment. It's a way of writing that was invented by a young French called Louis Braille. This Braille is now adapted to many different languages, although the origin is from France, but many other countries and many other languages can now write Braille in their language.
Evelyn Angongui heads another association of visually impaired persons. She details out how a Braille is used.
They are raised dots organized to form letters, words, and so on. The blind will feel these raised dots to read as any other person can read. The dots are easy for the blind to touch and read because for sure we cannot see printed text. So when these dots are raised and organized, we touch them and we read as other people read printed documents.
Braille greatly helps blind persons as they can use it in school, at workplaces. However, the coming of digitalization has greatly impacted the use of Braille, as Evelyn Angongui explains.
It's losing its pertinence because people prefer to read their books or articles using applications, and it is faster than the Braille, and so most people are using the computer sciences to do their work, and Braille is losing its pertinence.
When it comes to other challenges, Coco Berteng reveals.
In our country, many persons with visual impairment are not even aware of maybe the existence of the Braille. They cannot read, they cannot write, they cannot really learn because the material is expensive and difficult to find.
Nonetheless, Evelyn Angongwe sees the opportunity to encourage visually impaired youth to make use of Braille, for it helps at the level of grammar, vocabulary, and spellings.
And on to something else, social media scam has taken another dimension, with the perpetrators using fake accounts of high-profile individuals to advertise fabricated profitable businesses, a phenomenon which many internet users have fallen prey to. Joshua Buanong is an expert in information technologies. He begins by highlighting some recurrent scamming strategies in this excerpt. Take a listen.
The very first one is using parody accounts. If they know that person A is influential, they can create a fake account of that person and they'll be using it to communicate. So if you don't study the account very well, you think that you are talking with a real person, whereas you are talking with a fake account. So they can propose an investment to you, and if you are quick to put your money into it, they are going to scam you of your money. The second way through which scammers use these days, which is also really recurrent, is using pyramid schemes or Ponzi schemes, or what is popularly known as network marketing. They propose a business to you that if you invest in this business and you bring two people, your money is going to multiply or something like that. So usually the first few people who engage in the business usually have their returns on investment. For example, they can pay the first few people who invest into the business. So those people will do the word of mouth. They will tell their friends that I put my money into this business and it gave me interest. When people increasingly put their money into it and they see that they have maybe reached their target, they can close down the system and tell users that they have system failures, that they're working on the system and the system will be back online. That's how they disappear. Months or days after, you go to their location, you don't see them, they are nowhere to be found, you cannot contact them.
And still on the same vein, the expert further provides tips on how individuals can identify with fraudulent options brought to them on various social media platforms. He spoke during an interview with our reporter, Glory Gange.
For people to really recognize these schemes, the very first thing is that people should not be quick to rush into conclusion when it comes to dealing with businesses online. Take your time to analyze very well. Take your time to study every offer that is being proposed to you, because you never can be too sure who you are talking with. Make sure that you do your due diligence to confirm that you are talking with the right person before you can engage in any kind of business. Another way through which people can stay guided from these online scams is that don't be quick to invest your money into anything that is being given to you, because a lot of times people fall prey to these online scams because they want to make quick money. We just have to understand that for you to make real money, you have to put in the work, you have to do it into a real investment before you can be able to gain some kind of profit.
Mapala Zita, who is a senior reporter and editor-in-chief here at Royal FM, has joined me in the studio for our international news file. Welcome, Zita.
Thank you, Brian.
Let's begin with President Theodora, who stays at the helm of the Central African Republic. Zita.
Central African Republic President Faustin Archange Touadéra has won a third term in last month's presidential elections. This, according to the National Electoral Authority. Provisional results were released last night, crediting him with 76.15% of the votes. Touadéra was first elected in 2016 and re-elected in 2020, and then a constitutional referendum in 2023 removed limits and allowed him to run for a third term. The main opposition coalition boycotted the vote, and two opposition candidates, former Prime Minister Anissé Georges Delogele and Henri Marie Dondra, have already contested the results, citing alleged fraud. In the meantime, the Constitutional Court has until January the 20th to declare definitive results.
Over in Uganda, the government has denied plans of elections internet shutdown, as you highlight, Zita.
Uganda has denied plans to shut down internet access during next week's elections, dismissing reports of a possible blackout as unfounded. Concerns were raised by the main opposition candidate Robert Kyagulanyi, also known as Bobby Wine, who has repeatedly claimed that the government intended to block the internet to disrupt mobilization and the sharing of election results. Ugandans go to the polls on January the 15th, with President Yoweri Museveni seeking to extend his rule, and his main challenger is the former pop star turned politician Bobby Wine, who is making the government internet shutdown claims. But according to the executive director of the Ugandan Communication Commission, Nyombi Tembo, the impending blackouts were mere rumors, and the commission's mandate is to ensure uninterrupted connectivity. Political tension, however, remains high in that country, Brian.
What's more to know from the international scene, Zita?
A lot more to know, Brian. Pope Leo has closed the Catholic Church's Holy Year today by sealing shut the special door
in St. Peter's Basilica and urging Christians worldwide to help those in need and treat foreigners with kindness. The Holy Father, who has made care for immigrants a central theme of his early papacy, said at the Vatican ceremony that the records 33.5 million pilgrims who visited Rome during the Holy Year should have learned not to treat humans as mere products. And then French President Emmanuel Macron is today hosting Ukraine's leader Volodymyr Zelensky and other key allies of the country as efforts intensify to agree security guarantee for Kiev in the event of a ceasefire with Russia. Heads of state and top officials from more than 30 countries who are part of the so-called coalition of the willing are taking part alongside U.S. mediators in peace talks, Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. China and South Korea have agreed to carry out cultural exchanges in an orderly manner, this according to a statement by Chinese Foreign Minister today when he was asked if Beijing would welcome South Korean culture exports in the future. South Korean President Lee Jae-myung met with his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping in Beijing yesterday, seeking to restore ties between the two neighbors. The U.S. seizing of Venezuela leader has faced strong criticism from both America's friends and foes at an emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council. Many member states agreed with the United States that Nicolás Maduro had been an illegitimate and repressive ruler, but many also condemned the U.S. military action of a breach of international law and the UN Charter. A majority are demanding a democratic transition that reflects the will of the Venezuelan people. That's all from the international scene, Brian.
And from our foreign scene, let's now move to sports, beginning with our special page.
AFCON 2025 Morocco, a special page in the news.
And to get into our special page, let's connect to Royal FM's makeshift studio in Morocco, where we have Abel Bella Samari, Eric Christian Kwam, and Jean-Pascal Chala for today's menu at the AFCON knockout round.
Good afternoon to you, Yaoundé. The 2025 African Cup of Nations reaches a fever stage today as two of the tournament's most consistent performers, Algeria and the Democratic Republic of Congo, go head-to-head in a blockbuster round 16 encounter. Kick-off is set for 5 p.m. local time at the Stade Prince Moulay Al Hassan in Rabat, Morocco. The winner will secure a coveted spot in the quarterfinal to face Nigeria, whose cruises passed Mozambique 4-0 yesterday. The Desert Warriors are seeking redemption after disappointing group stage exit in the last two editions. Coach Vladimir Pekovic, Nigeria, has arrived in Morocco with a vengeance. They emerge as one of the only two teams to finish the group stage with a perfect 100% record, dispatching Sudan, Burkina Faso, and Equatorial Guinea with clinical efficiency. The Fennes have been the most prolific attack side in the tournament so far, netting 8 goals while conceding just 1. Legendary captain Rimarex remains the focal point of the attack. The resilient Leopard of the Democratic Republic of Congo entered the knockout stage as a formidable underdogs. Sebastien Desarbres' men finished second in Group D, level on point 7 with Senegal and missing out on the top spot only by goal difference. History favored the North Africans. Algeria has not lost to the Democratic Republic of Congo in their last 7 meetings. Interestingly, the two nations have not met in an African tournament for 26 years, with their last competitive clash ending on a 0-0 during the 2000 edition of the African Cup of Nations. At 8 p.m. Marrakech, Morocco, the round 16 of the 2025 African Cup of Nations reach a grand final tonight as defending champions Ivory Coast takes on regional neighbor Burkina Faso. The stakes could not be higher at the grand start in Marrakech, with the winner set to face Egypt in the quarterfinal on Saturday. The Elephants are currently a 7-match unbeaten runs at the African Cup of Nations, and today's encounter will just be one among those expected encounter to produce fireworks out here in Morocco. Every Christian Kwam, Abel Bella Samari, Jean-Patient Sala, and Stephanie Bissaye on a special assignment in Morocco.
And away from there, still in the special page, the fairy tale run of 4 of the best third place teams of the ongoing African Cup of Nations has concluded as Sudan, Tanzania, Benin, and Mozambique have all been eliminated in the round of 16. Sudan made history by becoming the first team ever to qualify for the AFCON knockout stage without scoring a single goal of their own, advancing on the back of an own goal and favorable results in other games. For other teams, including the likes of Tanzania, they were ousted by the host country, Morocco. The Benin Republic were ousted by the Super Eagles of Nigeria, while Mozambique was equally eliminated last night by Nigeria.
AFCON 2025 Morocco, that was a special page in the news.
And as you got it in the headlines, the Cameroon National Paralympic Committee is currently convened at the Yaoundé Multipurpose Sports Complex for its 14th Board of Directors session. The pivotal meeting serves as an official audit to the 2025 sporting year while greenlighting the strategic roadmap for 2026. In his opening address, the president of the committee, Jean-Jacques Dodomo, lauded the committee's exceptional performance in 2025, where athletes secured an impressive haul of 33 medals, including 11 gold medals. Looking ahead of the 2026 sporting year, the president emphasized structural reforms to enhance elite training with the ultimate objective of placing Cameroon firmly on the podium at the Los Angeles Olympic Games in 2028. Cameroonian sprinter Emmanuel Esimi has officially presented his recent trophy to the Minister of Sports and Physical Education, Professor Narcisse Mwelekombi. During the reception here in Yaoundé, the reigning fastest man in Africa reaffirmed his commitment to the national colours, vowing to secure more silverware at the upcoming Glasgow Commonwealth Games and the Los Angeles Olympic Games in 2028. Let's listen to the sprinting sensation as he shares his vision for the future.
I think it's the country's right for me to present this medal to them because I've received support from the country, and if someone gives you support, you should be able to tell them thank you. So it was my way of telling the country thank you for the support they give me, and to renew the confidence they have in me, to renew my vows of always representing the country to the fullest of my potential. Yes, it's a huge responsibility, and take upon myself not to put too much pressure, but to use this responsibility to be able to work harder and to be able to achieve the goals that we have set in place for this.
And from that excerpt from Emmanuel Esime, let's now get a summary of this newscast in French language presented by Annie-Lisette Ambassa. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Biwa Brian. Financement des projets portés par des jeunes. 50 milliards de francs CFA viennent d'être mis à disposition par le chef de l'État. Une annonce faite dans le cadre de son adresse à la nation le 31 décembre 2025. Des jeunes interrogés à propos à Yaoundé apprécient l'acte mais restent sur leur faim concernant les potentiels bénéficiaires. De grandes dépenses engrangées pendant les fêtes de fin d'année par des citoyens. Aujourd'hui, ceux-ci rongent leurs freins. Face au mois de janvier qui paraît très long, les populations éprouvent des difficultés à joindre les deux bouts. Chaque ménage y va selon ses astuces propres. Hors de nos frontières, RCA, Faustin Archange Touadéra, président sortant, a été provisoirement élu avec 76,15% des voix pour un taux de participation d'environ 52,42% à ces élections générales. L'ANE, Autorité nationale des élections, a annoncé les résultats provisoires le 5 janvier au soir. Regroupant la présidentielle, les législatives, les régionales et les municipales, ces élections régionales se sont tenues le 28 décembre 2025. Et puis en sport, 35e CAN au Maroc, à suivre les dernières affiches des huitièmes de finale. Enlevé de rideau à 17h ce 6 janvier 2026, l'Algérie est aux prises avec la RD Congo. Et plus tard à 20h, les éléphants de Côte d'Ivoire seront face au Burkina Faso.
And it is on that note that we put a dot to today's edition of the 2 p.m. news on Reality 8.4 FM. We benefited from the technical expertise of Yurish Kemo. On the cameras, we had Len Kwekam. For production assistants, Evans Williams Jobati. Editorial coaching was ensured by Mapala Zita. Editorial coaching we got from Abel Belasamari. Coordination came in from the station's manager, Roger Kiek. And for general supervision, the Reverend Pastor Bisai Emmanuel Noel. From Royal FM studio, my name is Biwa Brian, ushering you to Royal FM's next program, which is part 2 of Fresher Royal. It is going to be presented by Raisa Parker. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Je suis surprise de la façon dont vous avez appelé mon nom pour cet après-midi. Raisa Parker. Je dis
you like?
I like it.
Okay. That's what we're going to be doing. That's what we're doing now.
It's the flow of Fresher Royal. Yes. It's the mood.
Won't you invite me?
Yes, you can.
I'm invited.
Yes.
Okay, I'll come. So tell us what you expect. Yes, immediately after this.
Immediately.
Yes, I'm not going. So what should we expect, part 2?
Part 2, on va continuer avec les thématiques sur la table. Dodo est déjà là. On aura cette charmante voix qui nous retrouve, qui a été longuement saluée par les auditeurs. Et la page pratique et oui, la rubrique coup de cœur aussi, on l'a dit. Donc on se dit simplement à tout à l'heure. Biwa McBrien.
Ladies and gentlemen,